CTV Calgary, local breaking news.
Good afternoon. The fall sitting of the Alberta legislature has wrapped up, and the government House leader is standing by the UCP's decision to use the notwithstanding clause multiple times to pass legislation.
It is constitutional. The NDP has said it's not constitutional. There are lawyers on the other side who are elected who should know better.
The UCP invoked the notwithstanding clause to end the teachers' strike and to pass legislation regarding transgender Albertans. Joseph Scow called the fall sitting busy and productive after the government passed 14 bills.
Of those 14 bills that we had before the House, not one of them was about the economy. Not one of them was about cost of living. The ones that were about health care demonized a couple of dozen trans kids and privatized the system, something that they explicitly promised not to do.
NDP leader Naheed Nenshi says the UCP has failed to make life better for Albertans, and that includes failing to address the cost of living. Nenshi says the NDP put forward legislation that would have made electricity more affordable, but the UCP refused to support it. A new poll suggests most Albertans want public funding for private schools scrapped. The survey by Think HQ is based on a proposed referendum question about ending the current practice of allocating public funds to private schools. In a hypothetical vote, 69% of decided voters would vote yes to end the practice. 31% would vote no. Pollster Mark Henry says the numbers also highlight growing challenges with the province's direct democracy push.
If you actually put this on a ballot and the numbers come in at 70%, are you actually going to withdraw the funding and potentially see a whole host of independent schools across the province close?
Henry says he anticipates the province will amend the recall legislation and further amend the referendum rules as political pressure builds. Alberta's Auditor General is calling on the province to improve health care performance reporting. A report released today found Alberta Health Services has been publishing low-quality and inconsistent performance summaries. It found some of the reporting didn't align with guidelines and varied from report to report. While the audit examined past performance, the Auditor General says it's relevant given the current restructuring of the health system. Doug Wiley says the foundation for success can be set by clearly defining objectives, showing how results will be achieved, and reporting progress publicly. Alberta First Nations leaders are in Ottawa today to voice their opposition to the pipeline agreement between the province and the federal government. A member of the Indigenous Advisory Council for the Major Projects Office says he and his colleagues were not told in advance about the agreement. Indigenous leaders in Alberta are concerned about the deal being announced without Indigenous consultation. They're demanding both levels of government pause things until Treaty 8 First Nation leaders give their consent. A new grocery store is open in a growing southwest Calgary neighborhood. There's a lineup to get in before Sobeys opened this morning near Old Banff Coach Road and 85th Street in the West District neighborhood. The company says it's aiming for the store to be a community hub. West District is already the site of several new stores and restaurants, with more to come as hundreds of new houses and condos continue to be built in the area. The new Sobeys features local produce from Alberta farmers, a bakery, a deli, a butcher and pharmacy. The rising cost of living is stressing out Albertans. According to a new study, these financial worries are following people to work. This recent survey was conducted in partnership between Money Mentors and Angus Reid. It shows nearly 60% of Albertans have had money problems affect their job performance in the past year.
We just see people they're just more stressed about things and have less ability to pay because the cost of living is so high.
A lot of times there is a lot of guilt and shame and a lot of emotion around money having enough or not having enough. And so it can be a real a hindrance to people asking for help.
Farron says figuring out how to put those feelings of shame and guilt aside is key to turning things around. A Calgary teenager is now a finalist in an international science competition. 15-year-old Annie Adofia made it to the round of 16 in the Breakthrough Junior Challenge. She put together a video about organoids, lab-cultured versions of human organs created from a patient's own stem cells. Annie is in the running for $400,000 worth of prizes, including a college scholarship and a new science lab for her school. She is a grade 10 student at William Aberhart High School. Thanks for joining us. Our evening news is preempted today for the NFL. We'll have more on the top stories on our webcast at 5 or anytime online at ctvnewscalgary.ca.